In 1969, the world watched in awe. Neil Armstrong took that historic step onto the lunar surface, uttering the words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." But over 5 decades later, many still ask, did we really go to the moon? Or was it all an elaborate hoax? In this episode, we dive deep into the theories, clues, science, and speculation behind one of the most controversial questions in modern history. Was the moon landing faked? Let's find out. On July 20th, 1969, NASA's Apollo 11 mission made history. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin spent over 2 hours walking on the moon, collecting samples, taking photographs, and planting the American flag. The event was broadcast live to over 600 million people. It marked the climax of the space race, a fierce Cold War battle between the United States and the Soviet Union. But as years passed, skepticism began to grow. By the late 1970s, whispers of doubt became louder. A 1978 book titled "We Never Went to the Moon" by Bill Kaysing claimed the landings were faked. He pointed out alleged inconsistencies in NASA's footage. And suddenly, the world began to question. Let's examine the most cited pieces of evidence behind the moon hoax theory. 1. The waving flag. How could the American flag wave with no atmosphere? NASA says it was caused by the flagpole being twisted and a metal rod keeping it extended. 2. No stars in the sky. Where are the stars? NASA claims the camera's exposure settings couldn't capture them, just like a daytime photo on Earth. 3. Odd shadows. In some shots, shadows fall in different directions. Multiple light sources? Or just rough terrain bending the angles? One of the most bizarre theories is that filmmaker Stanley Kubrick helped fake the moon landing. His 1968 film 2001, A Space Odyssey looked so realistic. People believed he had the skills and tech to recreate space on Earth. Some even claim his film The Shining was a cryptic confession. Danny wears an Apollo 11 sweater. Room 237 allegedly refers to the moon's distance from Earth, 237,000 miles. The 1960s were intense. The Cold War, Vietnam, nuclear threats. America needed a win. Beating the Soviets to the moon would be the ultimate victory, even if it wasn't real. Some theorists say NASA couldn't risk failure, so they made sure they succeeded no matter what. Here's the strangest part. Between 1969 and 1972, we landed 6 missions on the moon. Then we stopped. In over 50 years, not a single manned moon mission. NASA says it's about cost and risk, but to some, it's the biggest red flag of all. Despite the theories, the scientific community offers solid counter-evidence. Moon rocks with unique isotopes. Laser reflectors still bouncing signals. High-res satellite images of landing sites. Amateur radio operators tracking the missions live. The moon landings were complex, but not impossible. Why do so many still believe it was faked? Because truth is complicated. Governments lie. Hollywood blurs fiction and reality. And once doubt is planted, it's hard to remove. In the end, it's not just about the moon. It's about trust. So was the moon landing mankind's greatest triumph? Or the greatest lie ever told? You decide. But one thing's certain, the mystery is far from over. Drop a comment below. Do you think we landed on the moon? Subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. This is Archive X, where the truth always leaves a shadow.